Hey there. So today we will be talking to Patrick Tobler from NFT Maker Pro. He is a person I really respect for what he's doing. He does things his own way, he takes his time, and this is a subject we touch on during this chat. So enjoy it, and I'll see you on the next one. So we are starting the recording. How are you, Patrick? How are things?
I'm very good. How are you today?
Very good. We've been talking quite a bit lately because we're working on this project together, which I enjoy because I always like talking to you. So let's jump right into it. Tell us a little bit more about Patrick Tobler. Who's Patrick Tobler? Why did you decide to come into Cardano and everything you see and everything you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, Patrick Tobler was, until not too long ago, a computer science student from Germany. And then,
Okay.
I wrote my bachelor thesis. And during the writing of my bachelor thesis, I started this little 1-week project called NFT Maker. And then, a lot of people liked it, and I kept going, and I spent way too much time on NFT Maker and way too little time on my bachelor thesis. And now I'm here, almost like half a year later, I would say, and I'm doing Cardano full time and doing NFT Maker full time, and it's been like completely crazy, to be honest.
So, okay, there is an overarching theme of those interviews, how everybody came in to have fun and to kind of create something new, and now that's taken over their life. We'll come back to that in a minute. I have a question though. Did you finish your bachelor thesis?
I did indeed. I actually, the cool thing about it is I wrote it about Cardano. So it was like, I could take a lot of the work that I did with metadata, and it was also about NFTs and like metaverse kind of stuff. And I took a
Okay.
lot of that and just repurposed it for the bachelor thesis as well. So I finished my studies. I know some other German bright kids that haven't finished their studies yet. If you know
Are we
who
naming and shaming today?
naming and shaming. It has to do with berries.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna ask anymore. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, to be fair, my bachelor thesis is never gonna help me in any way. I think because I have my own company now, and I think even if this whole thing breaks apart and I have to do like a regular job, I doubt that they will actually take a look at my bachelor certificate.
So, okay, today is January 8th. This will be airing later. But you said something very interesting. You said you have your own company now. And I've always loved entrepreneurship. I've always played with entrepreneurship myself. And I have a very sweet spot. Like I would throw my money at an entrepreneur whenever I had it because I know the struggle of starting something and maybe not going the way you want it, or maybe shooting and then you're not sure where to go, etc. So, question number one: have you always wanted to start your own company?
Yeah, I actually think so. Yes, it's been always my dream actually to make video games when I was younger, and
Okay.
so I followed that path for a long time, and then I made like my own games and I participated in game jams and all that stuff, and then I got into university, and then I slowly drifted away from video games and got more into blockchain and all that stuff, and I always wanted to do like indie games and start my own company for that. So it was very natural for me to, or in general, it's very natural for me to do projects on my own and like just do things, right?
Uh-huh.
So starting a company is just a natural next step, to be honest.
Okay, next question. Did you think it was going to be so soon?
No, absolutely not. Or at least not at this scale. It might have been that I started a company like right after university and tried something out and worked on a small project with no money and stuff. But now NFT Maker was quite successful, and then a lot of people became interested, and now the size of the company is way bigger than everything I could have ever imagined. I mean, we are over 20 people we're actually over 25 people working full-time on NFT
No
Maker.
way! I didn't know that. Like, I knew a lot because we've been talking so much, but I didn't know that. And this is super exciting because being an employer in itself is exciting and it's a responsibility, and there's all of the grown-up stuff that goes along with that.
Yeah.
But having 25 people that depend on you, I mean, chapeau, huh? Chapeau. I think it's great. I love it. I already had this much respect for you. Now it's gone up like to this much. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think it's great. And this is exactly what I'm seeing Cardano do for people. Like, sometimes it's a bit fast, and maybe my age, being slightly older than you, we all know how much older I am, but I'm just going to say slightly. I know I have maybe a little bit of a big brother kind of attitude with you younger crowd. And, like the older brother that worries in me is like, enjoy it, but have the right people around you.
Yes,
This is
I think that's you're 100% correct in that, and I've been extremely lucky, I think, because there are a lot of like great minds that I was able to just pull in, and they're all, the funny thing is they're all from outside Cardano. They're all like friends and sometimes even family, that then saw this project and said, okay, I want to work with you, and now. And one person, my COO actually, Christian, he saw me on Cardano for 360, right? 360. And he just called me so much that I had to pick up one of his phone calls. And now he suddenly is my COO and we're working together, and it's all really cool. But the people around it really make it special. And it's a huge responsibility. I mean, I'm 24 and 25 people are depending on me. Of course, not all full-time, a lot of freelancers. So just to make that clear, but it's still a big responsibility, and it's been stressful, but also extremely fun. And I had the time of my life these last 6 months, I think.
So one thing I've recognized, and I hated people telling me this, just so you know. So if you hate me saying this, just say it. I hated people telling me when I was your age, but when I was your age, I feel like the old guy. I feel like the old guy now, just so you know. But like, one thing I noticed growing up is that if I'm not having fun, I'm not interested. I'm just not. Like, even if it's a full-time job, if the fun aspect goes away, I start looking somewhere else. I'm done. I don't want it anymore. Life's too short. Not many people know this, but I almost died when I was 11. I drowned. Like, everything went black. I don't know if I died or not, but I know everything went black. So to me, ever since I was a kid, I've always kept this thing in my mind that fun is number one, because I don't know when that moment will come again in my life. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed in my environment that people my age or younger or older don't think that way, and they find what I think very weird. Like, they think I don't take my job seriously if I'm having fun. I'm like, actually, no, I take it more seriously because I'm having fun. And I see that in you. I see kind of what you're doing is like, it's something you've always wanted. You're actually having a lot of fun with it. It is a responsibility, but I see in you that you take that responsibility very, very serious. And you're looking to grow it, because we have had some talks about funding, and you're telling me, yes, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, I'm looking for that. I'm not going to talk about it now because that's personal for you, but like, I've seen that part of you where you flip to the serious, like Patrick Tobler, the NFT Maker Pro, I don't like to say boss, but leader, I would say. And then the other part of you where we're geeking out on NFTs, and you're like, oh my God, this is such a cool NFT. I love it. I love this. I love that. So, and the older generation doesn't really understand it. Like, some people don't understand that, yes, we don't need to wear the tie to be able to be leaders of our corporations, like what you're doing.
Yeah.
But we can also not wear a tie and then geek out on NFTs if we want.
I completely agree. I think I'm glad you see it that way. I like having fun. I think fun is the number one thing that you should aim for, because that's like the end goal. So you should try
Yes.
to have the end goal before actually getting to the end.
Yes.
And it's always been super important to me to just have fun and build cool things and work with my friends, and that way I can maximize the fun in my life. Yeah, and I also agree, a lot of these older, or not older folks, but like not my generation, but the generation above me, I often see a lot of like skepticism when you do anything which is even slightly risky also. Like when I talk to my grandma about this, she doesn't understand it all. or even anyone from my family besides
Yeah, I
maybe
was
my
going to say
father.
even younger.
Yeah, they're like, none of them understand at all what I do, and like how I can do that, and how I can actually start my own company. And it's a very, I have a two split family. One of them is very entrepreneurial, and they do get it to some degree, and the other one is very much like traditional in Germany. It's always about doing like an apprenticeship, and then starting a family, building a house, having a stable job
You
for the
need
next
those
40 years.
kids, right? You need
Hmm?
those kids. That's what some
Yeah,
people think.
always. Oh, they all think it. I don't know why. I don't have plans for kids in the next 10 years, I think. Um,
Uh, yeah, I'm glad we're taking a little bit of a more personal approach to those chats, because I don't think we speak about them enough, and people don't understand what we go through when we do anything to do with blockchain
mm,
or entrepreneurship to begin with. And you're one of the few entrepreneurs that are out there. Like you put yourself out there. I love what Alessandro's doing, but I don't see him. Like I don't think I've ever seen his face, but because I haven't spoken to him personally yet. But I know
he has
people
a
that.
very beautiful face, by the way.
So if he watches this, he will know that you approve of his face. Good to know. But like I know, I'm very close to Jenny. Jenny's very close to him, and she tells me like I know people that trust him and trust what he's doing, so I trust in him, kind of thing. So I have that second degree or third degree trust in him. But in terms of entrepreneurs running things, there's Adam Dean that shows up a lot. He shows his face. He doesn't mind it. And I'm not saying we need to be doxxed. I'm saying we need to be present.
Yeah.
I see. I think you're the two most prominent ones that are actually out there, other than Charles. Of course, that's a different thing. It's his project, but like
I
you,
guess Stale is also up there.
who?
Stale from
Yes,
Genesis.
Taylor is very. Sorry, he's gonna hate me for forgetting him, but he's the one that minted my Genesis on Cardano.
Ah,
So
nice.
I should never forget Stale. But yeah, so Stale is out there. I mean, he's a bit too out there, because he's taking all the brunt of people being upset with CNFT.io. Less now, but at the beginning. So I think that was unfair, in my opinion, and people have heard it. I've said that in public. But like, I feel this is empowering for you to know, and for others to know they can do it, and for you to know that you being out there is helping others also understand that it is okay to take that step. And you're not someone who knocked on daddy's door and said, "Give me the money to do this."
Yeah.
You're someone who started it. Luckily, knock on wood, it keeps on going, but it went well. So to entrepreneurship, there is a factor that is luck a lot of the time. There is the right timing. There is the right product, which you brought. So you brought all of those together, and it worked for you, and you were able to run with it. And good for you. I mean, I will always wish you the best. My point is, not enough people are showing it or I'm not seeing enough people, maybe a lot are showing, but I'm not seeing them, to let other people know that, yes, it's okay to do this. Just do it with mindfulness, do it in a way that is sustainable for you, because one of the main things is paying yourself. And that's my next question. Are you paying yourself?
I actually, so this is my third month where I'm actually paying myself. So yes,
Okay.
now I'm finally paying myself, which is amazing, and it feels so good.
Yes. Yes.
And I agree, and I think, you know, regarding putting yourself out there, I think that's, you know, kind of the new way of doing business, especially in this decentralized world. The truth is, you know, NFT Maker is 100% built on me as a person, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad. And by putting yourself out there, like Stale does and like I do, it's very easy to take blame and to feel really, really bad about things, even if they're outside of your control. I took blame for many projects where I wasn't even really involved. You know, like, for
Can I
example,
name one?
you can name them if you want to.
Well,
You know?
I'll name probably the most famous one, which was probably one of the first that gave you a big slap. And even, I was guilty of that too. I was like, Patrick is involved? Cardano cities. And I told you about it too.
Yeah, Cardano
So,
City was a big one.
yeah.
And you know, I mean, they used NFT Maker, of course, and I know the whole team, and I still trust the team. I keep saying that also, even though they're quiet and in the dark. But they, you know, in the end, I didn't do anything. I didn't implement the website. I didn't build anything for them, right? So, like, I'm the only person who was doxxed, who was somehow mentioned on the website because there's
Yes.
like this big green logo of NFT Maker. So that was, I took way too much blame for that, for my own good, and I was stressed out for like a week or so. And it's really like things are like these are really bad for your mental health. And also, you know, Coco Locos, don't even get me started.
You didn't know you were the mentor for Coco Locos too.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, well, that was.
And I defended the project for a long time, and then, you know, this whole thing with the experiment happened, and I think actually the minting was not that bad. It was badly implemented at first, and then they found another person to do the website, and then it worked flawlessly, right? And this other person did it in like, I don't know, 2 hours or so, and it worked flawlessly after that. But after, you know, after that whole fiasco, then to pull the rug is maybe not the smartest of moves.
So, what have you learned from all of that? Because I feel that's very important, and I feel like I know for a fact because I spoke to you kind of around Cardano cities and then later, and I've seen the growth and I've seen the maturity. I think maturity is probably not the best word, but maybe that like evolution is probably a better word for it. I've seen it. Maybe the people that speak to you regularly more than me have seen it more. But what did you get out of all of those difficult? I don't want to say negative because I feel like everything that happens to us happens for a reason and we learn from it. But
Sure.
that was a difficult experience for you. So what did you learn from that difficult experience?
It was extremely difficult. I think, you know, those were like these, that was really something which was really bad for my mental health, and also for just like I was just stressed out all the time, even though I couldn't do anything. And I learned multiple things. The first one is to not associate with every single project which is launching through our API directly. Like, of course, there are projects that I do like myself, and where I'm fully involved, and where I built the website, and where I integrated and stuff like that. Like the Unsigned Algorithms, which was essentially the first big project that I did, and I made like everything for that from scratch, right? Together with Alex, of course, and then and the Hoskinsons and stuff like that. But then there are like thousands or hundreds of projects launching, which I sometimes don't even know about, and like I can't emotionally connect to them too much, because I need to be on a distance, on like a professional distance, so that I can keep a clear head, and also keep my name clear, and not be super engaged when something bad happens, because it always comes back to me personally, even if they do something, you know, something which I wouldn't like. And the second is like a very pragmatic thing. It's about you know, that the main issue that was there at the beginning was basically that people were not able to implement the API correctly. Like, they kept not using captchas, and not using Cloudflare and all that stuff, like all these technical things that you have to do to keep your website running and not spam the API and all that stuff. They just couldn't do that. Some could very well, but a lot of them were not able to do that. So we basically developed the NFT Maker payment gateway, which I think I've shown you in the past.
Yes.
It's like a PayPal checkout thing, and now users are able to just implement that button into their website, and then the actual payment goes through our website through the NFT Maker payment gateway. And we have, of course, 100% control over that. So we can prevent bots, we can block IP addresses, we can have captchas, we can have Cloudflare, we can have everything. And that's very important, because now I haven't seen any bad implementations of the API anymore. Either the people are good enough to actually implement the API very well, or they just don't even try because they have the button to do that.
Perfect. I mean, look, another thing people that I guess in our community, I feel sometimes they take to heart, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I mean, everybody has the right to voice their opinion. But what I feel sometimes becomes a little unfair is we all know that we're still experimenting with Cardano. We all know that when we say it's the beginning, actually it's the pre-beginning. We're in the pre-game right now. We're not even in the game. And for everything to be happening, Alice with the Nami and the smart contracts he's developing, he is putting everything on GitHub almost. He's doing so much. Pre-smart contracts, he was able to do so much. Now he's doing even more. You with NFT Maker Pro and the minting, you've decided to specialize in the minting aspect of it. So many others have been able to kind of bring this, but then CNFT.io with Stale and him trying to get that project going. And then suddenly people coming and being very negative and sometimes quite harsh. And it comes with being on the internet. I mean, I expect people to come and do this to me, even though I've gotten a little, thank goodness, but I expect at some point someone will come out and say, I hate this guy, he's an idiot, whatever. And that's fine, that's their right. But people seem to forget that we are really very, very early with Cardano. We are very, very early. And you were very open about it. Many people are open about it, that we are still building, but we are building with you. And you coming in to this platform we're providing you're taking a certain amount of risk that things might not go exactly as planned. However, we've told you about those risks a lot of the time. Sometimes we discover the risks while they implement.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time you've probably put it on your website, look, you need to do step A, B, C, D. If you don't, something's going to go wrong. And they don't do it, and then something goes wrong, and you get the blame for it. Exactly. And I feel that's a little unfair. However, the way you've decided to deal with it, the way Stales decided to deal with it, the way Alice has decided to deal with it, and all those big projects that are on Cardano have decided to deal with it, I think shows how Cardano community deals with difficult situations. We don't lash back a lot of the time. Sometimes we do, and that's normal. We're human. But we don't seem to lash back as much as other blockchains. We listen. I feel that's very important. And I've seen you also kind of respond and say, look, yes, okay, I'll own it. I made this mistake. However, we're working on it. And you rectify the situation however way you feel is fit with your client. And that's great. So with taking all of that into consideration, you as a person, if I know you're so integrated with NFT Maker Pro, but if you extract yourself today and you reflect at everything until right now, what do you feel made you evolve the most, and how did you evolve the most as a person?
That's a very difficult question. I need to think about that. In general, I think the one thing which is really strange and which was really the key in the last 6 months, and which really enabled my growth as a person and also in this ecosystem and everything, was definitely that I got into contact with so many different types of people, And it's also been the most fun. You know, I essentially, what a lot of people don't forget sometimes is that all these NFT projects on Cardano, they started as one-man shows, like all of them. Stale was basically developing CNN. Yeah, you know that, right? It's exactly the same for you, and it's exactly the same for Stale, who developed CNFT.io alone at the beginning, and now I think there are a few more people, but not many. And it's the same with Alessandro, who keeps building stuff on his own and who keeps the scope reasonable, and he does stuff which is scalable without having to, you know, manage thousands of servers or something like that, right? And then we have Adam Dean, who does all of this minting basically completely alone. And there are so many like entrepreneurs who do things alone, and they have had no funding. Like NFT Maker didn't have any funding, and at the beginning it was only me, and now it's a lot more people, because I realized that, you know, you need people to build up a really big business, and you need to professionalize in the industry and in the community, and not rely on single people to basically build everything, right? But yeah, so the point that I was getting at is basically that over this course, I got into contact with so many different people, from the artists like you, from, you know, amazing gallery owners, from I once had like a project with an NGO where I spoke to one of the ex heads of UNESCO in the Philippines or something like that, and like the Cardano Foundation and IOG and all of these like amazing people that you get to meet, and then you sit in random calls with these cool projects with cool artists and all that stuff, and then you absorb all of this wisdom, and you meet way more people than you would normally. That's just the craziest thing, and that's really what you know, made me think about life a lot, and think about where I want to go, and what I can take from these people, from the experience side, and that's really been a pleasure. Just honestly, the greatest and coolest thing about the job, I think.
So very quickly, one last question about you before we jump on the project. If you look at you, I would say maybe last March.
Mm-hmm.
Between last March, when things started really heating up with Spacebot and all of that, and Cardano started blowing up a little bit more on the creative side. Since last March till today, if you look back at that person and you look at yourself today, what do you see?
I see a very big difference. Last March I was still a student. My main problems at that time were like some projects that I had to do for university, and I don't know. It's like I couldn't have imagined to just do the things that I'm doing right now, and like try to be as ambitious as I am right now, and there was so much growth as a person, and I've become a lot more, I would say, relaxed in many terms, and I've seen, you know, that many of the problems that I thought were super big and horrible back then are maybe not that important. So yeah, it's been great. It's been like one of the most life-changing years of my life, I think.
I love to hear that, because I think everybody went through it,
Yeah,
not just you. And
everyone.
I mean, the pandemic helped because we were all kind of going through one thing together. And then this, I think, kind of zoomed in the kind of things we're all going through as NFT people, I guess. That's a good word for it, an NFT community. And everybody I seem to be talking to tells me last year, this time, and today they don't recognize themselves, including me. I mean, I have to admit that myself last year, this is where I was kind of, even in January, I was starting to think of the project, starting to be creative. I was all alone. I was not really in lockdown, but there was not much to do. I work in the retail sphere, which means I don't want to interact with my family too much because I'm always in the malls. So I don't know if I had it, if I didn't. And today I can tell you that because of everything that I've gone through with Cardano, I have become a much more confident person. Not that I was lacking. People would tell you I had an ego, but or I still have an ego. But I can see the confidence in my abilities has grown, and I can see that in you. I can see that in Stale. I can see that in Alice, of course. I can see it in so many people in our community where you see that personality come out more. You see them, and this is one thing my dad taught me, and I'm glad I see it now. People are learning it. Is the ability to say no.
Yeah.
And
Very
that's not
important.
something. Yeah, it's a very important thing to say. To learn that it's okay to say no without and not think you are offending someone. In business especially, but in everything, like collabs. People would say no to me if I approach them for a collab, and I never took offense. I'd be like, okay, I'm a little hurt, but I get it, you're busy, whatever. And I would say the same, and I'm sure you got approached for a big project, and you're like, well, me and you right now, there was something we wanted to do together, and we had to say no. But that's fine, that's okay. There's no hard feelings. You say no, you move on, you get it done, and then you come back when you can.
Yeah.
So I love seeing, to me, I love seeing the evolution of the people in the space. I really love seeing the evolution and how everything, the people, the projects, everything's evolving. And I love that we are all part of that wave.
I 100% agree. That's been just watching this community grow from also, how long have you been in Cardano?
Honestly, you can blame one person who's very close to Stale, but he doesn't usually like me saying who he is out loud. He knew me from ETH and my work on ETH, and he did me a favor, so I gifted him one of my pieces, and he was like, you know what? You're on the wrong blockchain. You shouldn't be on ETH. You're not being appreciated enough. Come to Cardano. And that was maybe a week or two before my Genesis drop. And then I had to go back to everyone who had a piece of mine on ETH. I had to retract it and then give it to them again on Cardano. And luckily, everybody agreed, because he told me, if you can't get everyone, including mine, is fine, I'll give it back to you. But if you can't get everyone, I would rather you start another thing. And I was so in love with my first Call Me By Your Name, I still am, first Call Me By Your Name series, that I didn't want to. I really wanted to bring that because I felt it really spoke to me. So I would say sometime in March, I really became involved. Like, I think just before, a week or two before the crypto nitties drop.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that's when I started being involved. People started to know me very quickly because I didn't know it when I came into the space. I thought the space was early, but kind of similar to ETH. There's a lot of artists, and then I was like, nope, not many out there. The only other person that was doing something different than like the PFPs and something big like that was Yasin back then. It was me and Yasin doing something very different. Backwards Geometry had started also doing something different. So it was, Ada Butts was starting to think of doing things, and she came in a little later, I think. So we were all like this wave of people that came in that are single artists, and we were doing our own thing. Everybody in his own lane, but we were all doing our own thing, and we all supported each other. I remember having talks back then with Yasin, very cordial, short ones, but we still spoke and supported each other. I remember becoming very close to Backwards Geometry with Michael. Cardano Robin, but he had his own project that was more a project based, not a single artist. So all of those, people call us the OGs, and we kind of call each other the OGs, but you with NFT Maker Pro are considered an OG in like tech side. So those people, I feel, the people that came in early are very, very protective of the space. Very protective.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I like scary sometimes, I think. You know, I was in Cardano for a long time, like way longer than you were, to be honest. Like I started in 2017, and then I I got into the like last crypto hype, and I bought some ADA, and I liked the approach, but I didn't really follow it too much. And then I got really into it. Also, I would say not last year, but like the year before, like just before stake pools came out.
Yeah.
And I started watching. I was in Singapore and in quarantine because COVID started, and I had basically nothing to do except watch Charles' videos, and he kept making videos like every day. It was a crazy time, and he had like no followers, no viewers. The community was crazy small. There were only people like Ada Frog, for example. He's like one of the true OGs, and Rick McCracken, of course. And then it just exploded. Once the NFTs came out, it just completely changed the game. And there's so many more people now, and sometimes it's scary because like your thing, your small little bubble is getting so big that you can't even have the overview anymore. I don't even know all the projects anymore which are launched. And I used to know everything. I used to know every single project, and now it's just so different. And it's cool, of course. We all want to see that growth, but it's also a little bit scary, and you don't really have any influence over it anymore. It's just this walking giant, or like a little bit of influence, of course. But like,
I have to say that people like you, Stale, Fahad, like I'm not talking like IOG type people, like people in the scene. I think you guys still have some sort of influence. And I don't mean it in an egotistical kind of way. I mean it in that people respect you guys enough where if you tweet about something, they will read it at least. They might agree or disagree, but they will read it. So that to me is a very important thing. Yeah.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the reach is very different. I mean, even on Twitter, if you just take the follower numbers, some of the projects, some of the really big anticipated projects like Sunday Swap and Meld and whatever, they have tens of thousands or sometimes hundreds of thousands of followers. They reach a much bigger audience than what me, Stale, and Alessandro can reach together, basically. So yeah, there are a lot of people from the like crypto scene coming into Cardano, and that's always been like Cardano has always been its little thing besides the regular crypto crowd, and I actually really enjoyed that because that's, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit elitist or egotistical there, but I like being in this elite bubble and knowing that we have the best blockchain. but
I feel it's going to stay. That's not going to change.
You think it's going to change?
Because of the way Cardano is built and the rules that Cardano follows, at least until it's 100% up and running, they are still calling the shots that test at least twice, 3 times, and then cut once. There's that ethos of all of the scientific research, the scientific mindset behind it. I think that will stay at least until it's a fully on, like all the different stages are out and stuff like that. I feel that will stay at least until then. Afterwards, we'll see what happens because that's a voting process that they will not be able to control even anymore because they'll be keeping it open. But until then, I feel it can stay. And I know what you say about elitism, but I was on Clubhouse when Clubhouse had just started. I think it had been out maybe a month, not more. And I can tell you the ETH maxis are I will probably get a billion comments on this later on YouTube, people calling me a dick for it. But the ETH maxis sometimes they take it a bit too far. I have been in Clubhouse rooms where they were making fun of people. They were being a little bit bullyish. But in Cardano, I haven't seen as much bullying or any. I have to admit, it's much less.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
And people jump out and call out the bullying much quicker than on ETH. Like on ETH, I feel people jump on and they kind of keep on bullying. On Cardano, they're like, okay, you've said your piece, we've heard it, move on.
So yeah, that's pretty accurate. I wonder if that will change or if it will stay the same. I hope hope it stays the way it is at the moment. And I hope, my biggest fear is actually that it's the same with Bitcoin, right? In Bitcoin, we have all of these like hyper Bitcoin OGs, which were there in 2011, and they built this amazing protocol and built so many things. And now those people are basically completely irrelevant for most of what Bitcoin does. And they're not the loudest voices in the room anymore. And what I fear is that the same thing happens to Cardano, that at some point, all the OGs that we know, like Rick and like Frog and Stale and me and you name them, that we will all become like smaller players, like so small that our voices don't really matter anymore in the scene, and that like there are new people who have like this huge influence, and then somehow they're like what they say is super important, even though it might be complete crap. Like you can see it in with so many of these, Yeah, I mean, look at Max Kaiser and what these people are doing. It's just completely insane, and I hope it doesn't happen.
There's one thing I have to say in your defense with NFT Maker Pro is that you are building code. Code is copyrighted to you. So whatever happens, that code will always be copyrighted to you. So what you are building for yourself is an asset in a way. Your company is a very big asset with its own tech and copyright. At some point, someone, if let's say it goes the way you're saying, someone will want to buy you out.
Maybe.
Which at the bare minimum, you might be sad, but you can be rich sad.
Nice. That's true.
As long as you don't drink
do it for the money, Chadi. I do it for Cardano, for changing the world.
So exactly, you might become the next Bezos that uses his money for good, or Elon Musk that actually does something with their money for good instead of, playing with the markets. But which brings us again. I know we're enjoying this part of the conversation so much.
Right.
I feel like we should have. I know, right? I think we should have two parts: one on just you, and then one on the project. But if you want, we can keep on going this way, or if you want, we can shift to the project. What do you want to do?
We can do both. Honestly, I don't really care. Two parts.
So you know what? This might turn into a two-part video, if you don't mind. We might go longer than expected.
Sounds
let's
good.
keep on going with this for a little while, and then I'll stop the recording, and then I'll start a new one so we have a different one for the NFT Maker Pro. I'm really enjoying this too. So again, I've really enjoyed your evolution. I really think, especially in your 20s, you can, I know maybe the pandemic didn't allow you as much to do this, but I can tell you when I was in college, I was drinking till 4. I always went to class though. I woke up at 7 and I still went to class at 8 or 9. I always went to class.
Nice.
Just because I might have slept in class, but I was in class. But then I would always be partying. I was this social butterfly. People thought I was crazy. Now I know what they were saying. But I was thinking of starting something, of course, but I never took that step. You, Stale, who's much younger than you, from my understanding.
Yeah, Stale is much younger than me. It's
yes.
Crazy what this guy
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you, Stale, Alice is around your age.
So, can you repeat that last part? Siri just triggered, and I didn't hear any of it.
Perfect timing with Siri, as always. So yeah, I was saying you in your 20s, Stale soon in his 20s. You have Alice, who's around the same age too, in his 20s, also from my understanding. I think a lot, Fettuccini's in his 20s, and he's become a very influential person in the scene because of who he is and his personality. Like the reason I gravitated towards him is his personality. He's such a cool guy. And you have so many people in their 20s. You have me and my crowd in my 30s, and then you actually have people in their 40s and over. And we're all interacting as peers. Like once you are conscious that you are a certain age and still is a certain age, I might shift the way I speak to you, but I will still tell you exactly what you need. Well, exactly what I want to portray to you. You might need to hear it, you might not. That's a different question, but I would still do it. And this is what I love, is that we're all kind of looking at each other as peers. We are all talking to each other as peers. We are taking the conversations, whatever they are. Sometimes they're business, sometimes they're NFTs, sometimes they're personal, and we are treating each other as equals. There is very little, I should say, not no, but there is very little conversations where I am older than you, I know better than you, you should be listening to me, or someone like Alice saying, actually, I'm the expert at this, you should listen to me, or like, okay, he said that once with his way of doing the wallet, but that's okay. He has the right to defend his wallet. But then he listens, though. He listens. If someone gives him feedback and he reads it, he either agrees with it or he doesn't. And this is what I like. The experts are not, at least we're not there yet, or people are not allowing themselves to go there. We're not at that point where we are, no. I am the one that speaks. You are the one that listens. It's actually, no, we're all in a circle. We will all have, if you have something to say, go ahead and voice it, because we will all listen to it. We will give you our opinion, but we will still listen. And that is very important for our scene. This is what I love about our scene. And this is what kept me in the scene. I'll be honest, I did go on Tezos, I did put something up, I'm like, I don't feel it. I did go on Solana, I didn't even want to put anything up there. I still buy a few things on ETH, but I don't know. I feel like ETH has decided to become a very elitist space, and maybe the price points are so high that people can't afford it. Even though if you equate ADA to ETH in terms of USD, sometimes the NFTs cost the same. For some reason, people are more comfortable paying it in ADA than in ETH, maybe the gas. But there's something special about what we're all part of. And I really love that. I really do love that. And I see that in you too. So if you had... Okay, I'm not going to ask you about your favorite NFT project, because I don't think that's fair to put you on the spot. But if you had one thing you loved about the NFT space we're all part of, what would it be?
I think my favorite part about it is definitely the experimentation. We see a lot of experiments in the NFT space, and it started with the space buds. Like, there was no way to do NFTs before the space buds, basically, and Alice did them and just had like this metadata standard and like defined everything himself. And it could have gone the other way. Maybe IOG would have come out with a different metadata standard, and then suddenly his NFTs would not have worked, right? So it was an experiment, and it worked, and now everyone is using that way to do NFTs on Cardano. And then there are of course a lot of these like projects which are just 10K profile picture, apes basically. There are a lot of apes out there. I hate it, and there are a lot of ADA punks. I think I've seen like 10 ADA punk projects. But yeah, I like the part where we as a community try to do something different. So I think it started also a little bit more with the unsigned algorithms. I think that started this whole on-chain trend, and that's very cool. And then people started actually putting HTML into the metadata and started doing 3D object NFTs, and then they started doing actual like interactable little games as NFTs. I've seen a chess NFT that you can actually play, which is completely mine, and even VR NFTs, which are completely embedded and stuff like that. So that's what I love about it, and I love that people are trying to use NFTs and figure out what to do with them. And there are many of these projects where you can say, okay, maybe this is going to be irrelevant in 5 years. And there are many great art projects which don't really need this experimentation. But yeah, still, I enjoy seeing that people try not to go the route of Ethereum 100%. Like on ETH, there are many projects, and we could say, okay, we port all of them over to Cardano, and then we have basically the same ecosystem. But on Cardano, a lot of people are trying something which has not never been done on any other chain before, and that's what I'm all for, basically.
So what we're doing with the cute creatures is kind of touches on that, because I was highly inspired by your NFT, because I told you I was really interested in the capture part. I was highly inspired also by the robotos and how the robotos kind of are able to play with the robots and stuff. I have to admit that the shape, I know it's very similar to the roboto for my cute creatures, but it was not from the robotos. That was done way before, and I don't think anyone knows this, but the inspiration for the shape is actually, believe it or not, the Discord icon.
Oh my god, it makes so much sense. Now that you said
Now
it, I
that
can't see it.
right?
Oh, Jesus.
Yes.
This
is the first time I say it. So you're the first. So the inspiration for me came from there. But then I saw that the robotos were like dressing up the robots, and then they can download the PNG. But I don't think they were able to mint the PNG. I'm not sure if they were able to mint it. I need to go back and see. But basically, what I decided to do is bring something similar to Cardano, because I wanted to have my mega project, because all the OGs are expected to have PFP or mega project. And to me, it made no sense to just drop them as they are. I love them as they are. I remember when you saw them, you were like, oh my God, those are different. I don't know how to feel about them. I felt, you didn't say it, but I felt that's how you felt.
Yeah, like, it's very different than what I expected. And you know, the more you interact with them, or the more you see them, the more you like them. But at the beginning, it's like, what are these Discord icons in weird colors?
Someone said that to me too, where he was like, he showed it to his, because he's part of the collab project, so he's seen a lot of them, and he showed them to his girlfriend, and she was like, what are those? And he was like, oh, they're cute creatures. She's like, huh, I see that now. Those are really cool. This is quite abstract. Those are really cool. And I'm glad to me, this is what I wanted. I wanted people to not really understand at the beginning and then go, oh yes, I do see a fairy in there. I do see a vampire. I do see this. I do see that. And it's all part of the experimentation too, right? Like, we all wanted to experiment. We all want to bring something, and we're all inspired by things around us. Like, I think subconsciously, because I was so much on Discord, I ended up drawing something simple, but like, now that I've told you, now you're like, oh shit, I can't
believe it. Yeah, the freaking Discord icon.
But it's not the Discord icon. You can see the inspiration, but it's not the Discord.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
so it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, actually, and it's very cool, actually, because it captures the moment. I don't think we'll have Discord in 5 years for the NFT space as we do right now, right?
You don't?
I don't think. I'm not a big Discord believer, to be honest.
Where will we go?
I want something separate. I want the marketplaces and all these like NFT specific centers to be the hubs, and not have like Discord, Discord is very generic. Discord is just a very good chat system, and I don't think it's perfect for NFTs in particular. And I think it's better for gaming in general. And I also don't think it works for very large communities. It works for communities which are, around the size of a little less than 10,000 members at maximum. And then once you get to something above that, it's not really usable at all, in my opinion. So,
well, be careful what you wish for. Meta might take over.
Okay, hot take. I'm actually a big fan of Facebook. Yeah.
Patrick, my respect is falling.
No, I think actually, I don't like the platform. I don't like the whole privacy issues that they have and all this stuff.
Did you read the book?
Which one?
Wait, let me get you the name. The whole something about truth. Wait, I have it on my phone. I read it, and where is it? Did I delete? I did not delete that book. An Ugly Truth by Shira Frankel. it's a very well written book, very well researched about him and Facebook and how they knew a lot and they didn't do anything about it.
I totally understand that. Or I believe that in a heartbeat. I think Facebook is one of the most influential and knowledgeable companies in the world. But what I like about Facebook is actually, or I don't know if I like it, but I think Mark Zuckerberg is extremely underrated as a person. I think he's extremely intelligent and he knows exactly like what he wants. And I think, Facebook is actually the only company which is truly building something which comes close to the metaverse. Like, I think all of these metaverse
Yes,
projects in crypto are basically at the moment like
games.
games, yeah, games and bullshit, and they're like from super low level quality level. And then there are companies like Facebook who have been doing metaverse stuff for
Yes.
years and tens of years sometimes, and like this connection between the physical and the digital world. And Facebook owns Oculus, right? So they're
Yes.
like the only big player who actually does stuff with virtual reality at the moment.
I agree with you on that. I agree that Facebook has a very good base to do it. I agree that Facebook has a lot of technology base too, and they have the resources and the people to decide to do it if they want to.
Yeah.
I am hoping that Apple comes in with something also. I think they will eventually, but Apple historically has always come in later, and that's fine. But the one thing that worries me with Facebook is, I think that what worries everybody else is their history of not interfering when they should. And I don't say this lightly. I still feel that we need an open space that's unregulated to a point. But we've seen what happens when you unregulate something and you let people take advantage of it. And I don't want to get political over this, but and that has nothing to do with the US only. There are many things that happen all around the world because of the lack of interference from Facebook when they knew it was happening. Like, and read the book; it's very interesting. They knew exactly what was happening, and they just let it play out of this ethos that it is none of our business. I think the ethical boundary there is a touchy.
I agree with that part.
Well, I should say allegedly knew, according to the book, to protect myself legally, and I don't want Facebook to come in,
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that part. I think, having Facebook as the new metaverse kind of thing where we all hang out in the future is not what we want. But I think it's very likely that it will happen.
Yeah.
And I used to have, like, my vision of the future used to be very dystopian, and I thought, okay, it's 100% that we're going to end up with like one big company or multiple big companies who basically control the metaverse, control all the digital realm and stuff like that, and there's just no way around that in the long term. And then the only thing that actually gave me hope that maybe we can do it better and we can build it in a decentralized way was the crypto space, because after that I realized, okay, blockchains might have the power to build something decentralized. We just have to build open protocols for metaverse and stuff like that. But the truth is, Facebook is still in a better position than all blockchains combined. And Facebook is not the only one, actually. The other ones, like, I think there are 3 big players at the moment, and the other one is Roblox. Do you know Roblox?
Yes, I've heard of. I think I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Everyone who's over the age of like 15 doesn't know anything about Roblox, because Roblox is like Minecraft, but in an MMO type of scenario. And I can hear myself. Can you make me a little bit quieter?
Yeah. Is it better now?
Yeah, way better. And the cool thing about Roblox is I have 2 little sisters, and they're like 9 and 7 now, and they play Roblox all day, and they grow up with Roblox, and they grow up with this MMO type of thing, and they grow up in this world where they can create their own stuff and build their own like mini games and stuff like that. And I think Roblox is going to evolve, and they will just keep playing that until they're like 20 or 30 or whatever, and then eventually Roblox will be like some sort of metaverse, because they captured all the young people very early on, and like everything, they have like tens of millions or hundreds of millions of players at the moment, and no one from the older generation knows them, but they capture all of these young children and basically take them on the journey, and I think that's incredibly smart but also scary, because of course it's not decentralized in any way, and it's just one company behind it.
Unless Facebook buys them out.
They're really big already. I'm not sure if they can actually.
So this is the first time I go over an hour in 20 seconds. If it cuts off, we'll come back and we will record again. But I think I can go up to 4. I'm not saying we will stay for 4 hours. I'm just saying I think we can go up to 4. So let's experiment and see what happens. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree that the way I know Roblox is because my partner is a teacher, and my partner, we're still going over an hour. We're fine. My partner is a teacher, and I hear all about the kids playing Roblox the whole time. That's where I heard about it. Yes, and it's definitely a younger thing. So there's Facebook, there's Roblox, and who's the next one?
The next one is Epic Games. So,
okay.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
are they going into a metaverse, or are they going into?
They are very much into a metaverse, and so Tim Sweeney, the CEO of Epic Games, is actually a very respectable person, I think. Very smart, and also very open to blockchain in general, and decentralization and stuff like that. And Epic recently announced that they are going to put $1 billion into the development of a metaverse. And they have the cool thing about Epic is that they have the tool set to actually do that. They're like one of these companies. They have the engine, they have the developers. They have shown with Fortnite as well that they can just rapidly make metaverse events and scale up to hundreds of millions of players. That's not an easy task to do. No. There are not many companies which can actually pull this off. And like even Fortnite, if you like, I'm deep into gaming. Sorry for going off here.
But go ahead.
If you think about Fortnite, like it was a good game from the start, but the way that they kept it alive, like they added new content, they had concerts in Fortnite, they had stories, they iterated so much. There are maybe like 2 to 3 companies worldwide which can actually pull this off on this scale and in this speed. Yeah. And Epic was like one of them, and that's why it's so successful over all these years now. And if they decide to build a metaverse, and if they decide to do it right, do it in a high quality level, what they can do, because they're Epic, right? They can basically build whatever you want, and they have enough money to do that now. And Tim Sweeney is a smart person who knows this has to be decentralized. So maybe Epic will build something which blows us all away.
So this is, I think, one thing that people seem to confuse, and we touched upon it a little earlier, but when we speak of the metaverse, one thing that I feel like people don't understand is the metaverse is literally right now a void. There's nothing there. Well, it's metaverse version 0 maybe with Facebook and Instagram and that kind of stuff. But the metaverse we're all envisioning is the one where you have an avatar and you're running around and etc. So for that metaverse, what I feel like people seem to not grasp is that it is not this massive, grand online game. It's actually this massive, grand void at the moment, this space that is abstract to us because we haven't built it yet. But it's literally, we are playing God on the digital space by creating it first, and then it can be whatever we want, and it is interconnected with every other space on there. I can go from my space on the metaverse to your space on the metaverse, either through a little button or by actually getting up and having to walk through the other spaces to get there or whatever. And what we're seeing with Cardano and other people saying we're building a metaverse at the moment is they're building those lands like Decentraland, like Sandbox, like Pavia, and this is supposed to be their metaverse. But to me, this is just a different aspect of the void that one day has to all connect together, or it's not a metaverse.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you're right to some degree. I think it's not really a void, because there are many parts also that already exist which are part of the metaverse, like even just Twitter and Discord.
exactly,
They're
yes,
all part of the metaverse, and like
yes, they
it's
are.
yeah,
They're just not the metaverse we envision at the moment, and it's not the metaverse that the media is bringing out today, and it's not the metaverse that everybody seems to have in their mind when they think of metaverse. Maybe because of Ready Player One, I don't know, but
probably.
yeah, because we are already in the. That's very correct. Like, I think if you really want to filter it down to the metaverse, when it really, really started, I would even say it was before Facebook. I would even say it was with MIRC and all those really early on chatting systems
Yeah,
where virtually we were sending SMSs to each other and all of that. I feel like that is the early dinosaur age of the metaverse. And we are evolving towards something that is more like Ready Player One.
exactly.
Yeah. And not many people see it that way, or at least not many people grasp that by by being on Facebook, by being on Instagram, by being on WhatsApp, by being on Twitter, by being on all of those, they are in one way or another essentially part of that metaverse.
Exactly. It's all interconnected. It's kind of like the internet itself, or the World Wide Web. I have this. So my favorite TV show is called *Halt and Catch Fire*, and no one ever knows it.
Yeah, I know it.
You know it?
I
Wow.
didn't watch it completely, but I do know it.
Oh, you should continue watching. It just keeps
Yeah.
getting. Yeah,
Okay.
it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant in my opinion. But
Yeah.
in like the fourth season, they have this quote about the internet and the World Wide Web, and they all try to figure out like what is the World Wide Web going to be, is it going to look like, is it going to be like AOL, America Online, and stuff like that. And they
But
have
tell
like
people more about the premise of it, of the show.
it's a show about, I would say, it starts in the 70s, and it's about the first age of computers, and they learn about, or they build the first computers, and they basically follow history a little bit about like technology history. They built the first computers, then they start with online games, and they build like really weird, super early online games, and then they learn about the internet, and then they have something with AOL, and it follows history very closely, and it shows not like the success story, but it shows the story of different characters at that time, and it's super interesting just to see how these characters change, and how the world changes around them, and how they're always on the grasp of innovation and stuff like that. But the point that I wanted to make is that basically when you try to figure out what the internet, what the World Wide Web would have been like 30 years ago or 40 years ago, you would not have guessed right. 100% not.
No.
I think no one would have expected that we sell random images, random JPEGs via decentralized protocols and Discord now. And I don't know, it's completely crazy. No one would have guessed that. And the point is basically that you have to build a door instead of trying to define what it is. So you have to enable the metaverse. You have to define the standard on how to build it. Like you have to be the Tim Berners-Lee of the metaverse. You have to say, okay, we're going to use this standard to connect these things, or to build something decentralized. And then you don't have to care about what's actually going to be built, because people will come and actually build it themselves. And
make it and they will come, right?
Sorry?
Make it and they will come build.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. Like that. Don't build anything, just build the door, and that's all you need.
So do you feel like Facebook, Roblox, and Epic Games will build a good door or doorway?
No. Like, I don't think Facebook will build a good one.
Okay.
I think maybe Epic Games might build a good door. I think, what is a good door?
What is a good door? See, we're so early, maybe we don't even know yet.
Exactly. But I think that Facebook, they're just going to build like little stadiums that you can play in. And maybe it's enough to scale the stadium up. And then you have something which everyone likes and everyone just spends all their time in. But maybe it's not enough. And maybe we just have to define a standard and we have to build something decentralized where everyone can participate. And then we have little Facebooks inside of this standard, basically.
So I think we've started with the standards and interoperability with NFTs in a way.
Yeah.
And I think that is why people are. I feel like that is why people are linking NFTs to the metaverse so much, because we are kind of, whether we like it or not, we are kind of building this framework for all of this.
To a certain degree, I would say, because you could also go ahead in a completely different way. You could say, okay, we don't need the blockchain at all. We don't need NFTs. We just define a standard like HTML just for 3D. And then you use that, and you don't really need NFTs. And NFTs are more, I think, in the metaverse type of sense about the property and ownership kind of thing.
Yes.
And I get that. People want to have ownership. I was always torn between, do we need ownership or do we actually don't need ownership? Do we make everything accessible to everyone? And are we 100% open source all the time? But I think the overall community always wants to have ownership over certain things. And
we might have the free versions and the owned versions.
Maybe. Yeah, and NFTs are interesting for that, but what I don't like is all these metaverse projects which are selling land. I think that's selling land doesn't make any sense at all, in my opinion, to create a metaverse, because then you have like this central instance who issues the land, and then what are you gonna do? Like you have one instance who controls everything. That's really strange to me.
Okay, I agree with you with that. However, I think if they find a way with their interoperability standards to link all those lands, that gets more interesting.
That's true. Yeah, interoperability might be the way. Maybe we're building a lot of islands and then we connect all of these islands.
Yes. Okay, did you stop your video? Because you are frozen in a very funny way on my side.
I didn't. It's still moving for me.
Okay, let me hide you. Okay. Interesting. Let me hide you and bring you back. One moment.
Okay, I just stopped the video, but I can.
Okay, now it's working. I had to take you off the screen and bring you back on. So for a few minutes there, when you watch that video, you look kind of like that.
Okay.
So yes, I'm really enjoying this conversation, but at some point we do have to stop, and then people might find this boring and they might hate us for it, and I'm sorry for that. But this was such a good conversation, and I feel people will get a lot of information out of it. Though let's just jump on your project. So from my understanding, your main project is NFT Maker Pro. Is it your only project?
No. So essentially what we have is we have the NFT Maker brand, and we're trying to build an ecosystem around NFT Maker and around our projects. And we have NFT Maker Pro as our foundation. It's like our service layer. We have the minting in there, of course, but we are working extremely hard on integrating smart contracts in there, so that the trading and all this stuff, which is at the moment very complicated for regular developers because it's all Cardano stuff and Plutus and it's all horrible. But we want to abstract it and make it very easy for regular web developers to basically build their own trading platforms, integrate trading into their own applications and games and whatever you want. And so we are building this core foundation, this core technology. And then we're building like satellite projects on top of that. So we're building a marketplace, which I talked about many times, and it's been in progress for months and months. And it's
Can I be one of the first artists on that marketplace?
You can, yes. I actually wanted to ask you about that as well. So we should follow that
We'll take
conversation.
that offline, yes.
But yeah, so we are building this marketplace, and we consciously decided against being one of the first marketplaces because we could have done that. We could have launched like shortly after CNFT IO, basically. But I thought, we're not going to be the very first anymore. So we are going to take it very slow, going to take it the Cardano way, build the marketplace in a very methodical way and think about it and really make it good. Also have a plan for the long term. So we've been building that for many months now, and it's getting really good. I think I'm very happy with it. And that will come out probably this month, hopefully. We'll see. I don't like giving dates, but that's one of our satellite projects, and that's definitely like the core project at the moment. That's what I spent like all my time thinking about and developing and talking with everyone. So I hope it's going to be really cool in the long run, at least. And then we have many other projects, like for example, we launch a lot of projects also in a partnership, like we did with the Unsigs, the Hoskinsons. Heist on Alpha is a cool one, which no one ever knows, but
Which
they have
one?
a Heist on Alpha. It's like a comic Heist on Alpha. It's like a comic book NFT series. Yeah, no one knows about them. I don't know why, because they're actually really cool. They have cool comic books, and they are launching a Netflix series. So it's like the first Netflix series based on a comic launched as an NFT on Cardano. And no one talks about it.
Wait. You need to put that online. Can you show me their website? Can you go online and show us their website? And how are you a partner with them? Like, what are you doing for them?
We built the website and the integration of NFT MAKER PRO, basically.
Okay.
So that's what we do a lot of the times. Like we act as a
at the foundation for the minting / everything else.
Yeah, but also like an agency. Like we help a lot of projects launch their own website. And can you see this now?
Yeah, let me put it on the stream. Okay. Okay.
Yes, so that's one of the projects that we launched. It's already a little bit older. This is me. This is my COO. Yes. And it was made by, this is the TV series team. And they are actually, having this TV series in the works. And it's going to be, I think there are going to be big announcements very soon. And I like that. And that's really what I'm trying to do with NFT Maker. Just bring in projects from outside like this. This has nothing to do in the first instance with the NFT scene that we're in, but it has all to do with like these amazing comic artists and these amazing actors and people from the film industry. And they have now the ability to basically present their NFTs and present their project to a community, and thus get it validated a little bit, and then can use this to essentially create something bigger. And that's really what I love about this, and one of these experiments that I keep talking about. And we have many projects like that, like the Ada Ninjas. I don't know if you know them, but they're one of the bigger Cardano projects, I think. And they also launched through us. We also built that website, and they essentially are writing a manga. So they are writing all these amazing. Oh, I need access to the Google Drive. Okay, they are writing all these amazing mangas and like have a plan to follow this story for a long time, and they are having a roadmap and all this, and also experimenting just with what is possible to fund through selling NFTs and really creating value for their community.
So how have they? How come we've never heard of them?
I don't know. The NFT space is big, but Ada Ninjas are quite big as well. They have 12,000 followers. So
yeah, Ada Ninjas, I know them, but Heist on Alpha, how come we've never seen this comic before? This is so interesting.
I don't know. They're completely unknown. They have,
How many did they sell? I haven't seen their work anywhere. It says that they've sold out, but where?
I don't know how many they sold. We can check.
But I'm gonna go on CNFT. Oh, you can check the policy ID. Look at you.
Yeah. 800.
They sold 863 pieces of them.
Yeah, that's not a lot. That's
I mean, it's still, for a comic, that's not bad actually.
yeah, that it's true, but there's like, I don't know. I feel like some of these projects deserve a lot more success than they're actually getting, right?
Yeah. So I am finding the chapter 1 on. Wait, let's see, Highstone Alpha. I'm on CNFT.io. Okay, this is where we're starting to geek out on stuff. Okay, like yesterday, you're gonna laugh. I geeked out with Nicholas on Tamagotchis.
On Tamagotchis, Jesus, I'm too young for that.
Or are you too old? Because they just released again.
Oh, I saw that. Yes, I'm too old. Now I'm too old.
You're in between because I love them, he loves them, and then the young kids love them, and you're like,
I'm not gonna get into Tamagotchis. I think you can't bring me into that. We can geek out about everything, but not Tamagotchis.
why? It's a game. You're a gamer. You should like Tamagotchis too.
That's true, but it's like such a time-intensive game. You always have to like make sure your pet doesn't starve and all this stuff.
Yes, that's so true. That's so true. So okay, you're part of all of those. And if we go back to NFT Maker Pro, do you want to put the NFT Maker Pro up on the screen?
Yes, give me a
and
second.
talk to people a little bit about it, a little bit more. I'm actually looking for their comic books.
NFT MAKER IO joined.
Oh, okay.
Oops.
Show on stream. There we go.
Okay, yeah. So that's the current landing page for NFT Maker Pro.
Yes.
It basically explains what we do with NFT Maker Pro. It has like a pricing calculator, and the idea is really to make NFT minting in the like very large collections very easy by exposing everything to the API and the payment gateway and all these different tools that we've built. And as you can see, we've minted over 495,000 NFTs with NFT Maker Pro, which is completely insane in my opinion. But
good insane, no.
Good insane, definitely. It's amazing. I can't believe it every time. Like at the beginning, I thought NFT Maker Pro is gonna be a flop, and no one is going to use it, except for me for the unsigs. But then people started using it, and now we're at 500,000. And with the NFTs sold or made through NFT Maker version 1, we are already over 500,000. So that's very cool. And maybe I can show you a little bit about the. Can you see this as well, or can't you see this?
I can see like little mobile thing, little desktop thing. Yeah, they're zoomed in now. Yes.
Yeah. So that's our Figma. That's basically the design tool that we use for the marketplace and for all the projects that we have. So we're and most of this is already built in code. So we've redesigned the marketplace like 5 times.
I remember seeing version 2, or well, yeah, it still says version 2, but I don't know if it was the same version 2 that I saw.
Yeah, we took this and changed it so many times, and it's getting better and better, I think. And we have like my co-founder Fahim. He's a great designer, and we really try to present ourselves a little bit different than the other marketplaces, a little bit more serious and like up for high value art as well. And wait, what can I show you? Yeah, the minting screen is actually very cool. I think the minting is going to be amazing. A lot of content here always. But here, we have like a very simplified minting tool, which is not as complex as NFT Maker Pro, but a lot more complex. You're welcome. A lot more complex than all of the other minting tools, because we support multiple sub files, and we have this nice drag and drop kind of stuff, and we have a lot of details that you are able to add, and I think the user flow is really going to be absolutely amazing for the minting. And we have
I think user interface is something we lack in many of the things we have at the moment on Cardano, unfortunately.
100%, yeah. And
yeah,
we're currently
I
also
don't know why people are not investing in good user interface designers.
It takes time also to design this and to really build this also. So that's why our marketplace is so slow, because we try to do it right from the beginning. But yeah, we have so much stuff here built out. It's
so when should we expect this? Okay, today is the 8th of December. 8th of January. Wow, I'm still in 2021. 8th of January. When are we expecting this?
The goal is to launch this month with the MVP. I'm not sure if we can hit that, to be honest, but probably.
Okay.
And what our goal at the moment is to release the marketplace, and we've structured everything, like our whole design and workflow is built in a way so that we can easily create new features. So I think at the beginning it's not going to be much better than JPEG Store or CNFT IO, a little bit better, but those are great platforms and they've done a lot of work. But I think over the next months, we will just keep pushing out new features like we are currently doing with NFT Maker Pro and the payment gateway. And because of this tight integration with NFT Maker Pro and with the payment gateway and this whole ecosystem, we have basically the artists already, right? I think it's going to be very interesting, and really the rapid development speed that we will see after the launch is going to make this marketplace stand out. At least that's my personal goal. I don't know if it will work that way or not, but that's how we set it up.
So I hope it comes in soon, because it would be the way I see you structuring the minting process will make things much easier for people like me, because I love working with minters, but they're so busy right now that I have to keep on reminding them, and I'm a smaller project, so I get less time. So it doesn't look good for my collectors too, that I'm like, yes, I know I should send this to you, I should do this, I should do that, just give me some time, etc. So one thing that I saw on OpenSea is that you can buy it, but then it transforms within 24 hours, or you push it later. Are you doing something like that? Can you do something like that, or no, not yet?
So that's one of the features which we definitely want to have, but it's not one of the features we will have right from the beginning, because there are many, like, essentially the way all of these NFT marketplaces at the moment work they are very minimalistic in what they can actually do, and like in the way they're structured. They don't have really user profiles. They don't really have a lot of stuff, right? And it's very hard for them to add new features on top of that, because then you have to rebuild a lot of stuff in the backend and on the technology side. And what we're doing is we're taking our time with building this foundation. So we try to make this as good as possible, the foundation basically, like our whole backend system, everything, so that we can then iterate very, very, very quickly and add features like what you just mentioned with the reveal thing very quickly if we want to. And that's exactly what we've been doing with NFT Maker Pro, where people said, okay, let's do sales conditions that you can only buy if you hold an NFT from this policy, for example. And then we just can push this out very quickly because we have the infrastructure for that ready. And that's really like how I see this going. Like, we will launch, and then it's going to be good and have good user experience, but it's not going to have amazing features. And then we will have like sprints, like regular 2-week sprints, like in every development cycle basically. And we will say, okay, we want to have this feature and this feature and this feature in 2 weeks, and then we will build these features, and they will come out, and we will be able to iterate on these features very quickly and have new ones every 2 weeks. and that way we try to become like the best platform, not only for minting but also for trading in general.
Well, I hope so. Do you know that IOG is coming out with their own platform?
Emergo is.
Emergo, sorry, yes. Fiborite or Fiborite, I don't know.
I'm aware.
I guess it comes from the Fibonacci sequence, Fiborite, because their logo is kind of the Fibonacci sequence in a way.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what they do. The competition is extremely hard in this space, but I think that NFT Maker has like a strategic advantage, to be honest, because we have the artists already. And if we can make this integration with NFT Maker Pro and the marketplace very close, and if we can build this ecosystem, and we have all these white label projects, we have like 20 white label projects that we build for other NFT drops, right? Mm-hmm. If we can bring all of them together and really make this one NFT Maker family, basically, then it's going to be very interesting for users to use our marketplace. But you never know what happens, and I'm looking forward to healthy competition.
Yeah, I think since the pandemic, it's been the mantra for everybody. You never know what happens. For us in the 20, especially you, people who have started their own projects and people who have started their own companies, like you've actually made that official, is that we see that people are really, like, I don't know how else to say it, but the way it's done is that people are actually interested in the unknown now. Like, we're not afraid of the unknown anymore. You almost wait for it. You're almost excited for it because you've seen that the unknown is not always the scary place. It could be a place that can come back and bring you a lot of cool stuff, which is what's happening with us, and it's happening with you too. And this is what I love, is because NFT Maker Pro, I know when it first started, people were like, what is this? Okay, it's a good attempt, blah, blah, blah. But it didn't stop you. You could have easily gone, oh my God, people hate it. But no, you kind of kept on going with it. And that is when I started taking note of, okay, who is this Patrick guy? And why are his glasses so iconic? Now you can't change them, right?
No, now I can't change them. I used to have the other glasses, and then I got these. I don't know.
Well, should I ruin the surprise for you or not?
Go for it.
I'm thinking if I should.
Oh my God. Do you have...
So one of the accessories...
I already know it. You have as accessory my glasses?
Well, it's a collab accessory. It's not my accessory, but yes. One of the collab artists put in Patrick's glasses.
Who is it? Okay, you're not going to tell me more.
I'm going to let you figure that out. You should buy the collab. That's what you should do.
I will, 100%. I mean,
but one of the surprises I'm giving the artists, I haven't told all of them on the calls, but one of the surprises I'm giving the artists is that I will be giving, not only artists, you and Alex and everybody that's worked on this, is I will be giving you one bundle for free. So you guys will be getting a bundle of one random cute creature and two of the cute creature team. I didn't draw those, but cute creature team accessories. Mm-hmm. You will be getting those as a gift from me for thanking you guys for believing in me and working with me with it, because this has been a long time in the works and a lot of you have been super patient. So this is a kind of little thank you, because I think you might also double as beta testers when you get it, just before we do the official launch. For a day or two, you might be able to go in and play with it a little bit, and then I will drop the official drop.
Sounds awesome. I can't wait, honestly. And now I'm getting very excited for these collab artists.
There is I really need to count again because I'm a little confused about it, but there's either 20 or 21 projects on it as a collab.
Wow, that's a lot.
That was way more than I expected. I expected maybe 5 or 6. I'm like, I'll be happy with 2 or 3, but if I get 5 or 6, I'm happy. And then it blew up to 20, and I'm like, okay, I have to stop now because I need to handle it. And us creatives, our minds go places. Like, you can't tell us this is a deadline because the deadline will be pushed.
Yeah. I
So,
know.
yeah, because you guys are creative with code. So anything with where you have to create something, yes, codes are always pushed. I mean, deadlines are always pushed. So let's finish it off a little bit with what do you want to say about NFT Maker, the ecosystem, because now we know it's more of an ecosystem. So what do you want to tell us about NFT Maker Pro, the ecosystem, and what do you hope people get out of NFT Maker Pro as an ecosystem while you're building it, and with the vision you have for it at the moment?
Yeah, the underlying ethos for the whole NFT Maker ecosystem is basically to enable creators to do stuff, right? And we don't really know what they're going to do, and we don't really care. Like, of course we care, but like everyone can do whatever they want with it. We're building the tools for artists, we're building the tools for companies, we're building the tools for users who just want to collect NFTs. And it's really about enabling people, and that has started with NFT Maker version 1, right? Version 1 is still, to date, I think, the single tool which has onboarded the most artists to the Cardano NFT scene. And I'm very proud of that, if I say so myself, because that's the only tool that I built 100% myself, and then all the other people were involved as well now. And enabling people is really the goal, and that's what we strive for with all of our products. And that's why we try to build more than just a minting tool or a marketplace. We really try to build the ecosystem, and we really try to close the circle and have like the minting, the marketplace, the community, the white label projects. We have everything, and we try to make like one big NFT Maker family, and we try to help everyone, and basically everyone who participates in this family will somehow benefit from it, even if it's like if it is the cool community that you can participate with, or if it's monetary rewards you get from selling your NFTs, or if it's the artist satisfaction. It doesn't really matter, but that's really what I'm trying to do with this.
I love hearing that. I love hearing that you are working on a product and a service that ends up enabling artists or creatives to bring what they want onto the Cardano blockchain. And which makes me think of a question.
ADM Wissen.
Is that your Siri again saying hello?
Yes. Sorry. I don't know why she keeps triggering.
She keeps talking at like 33 minutes. Like 11:33, 10:33.
Maybe that's the key.
Yeah. So, by the way, it's the first time I hear Siri speak German, just so you know. So what is I know that you're opening it up for creatives, but what are the formats you are allowing? Is it everything that pool.pm allows?
Yeah, so basically we will allow, like the way NFTs are structured at the moment is you always have the preview image, right? So the preview image will always have to be a regular image, a JPEG, yes, PNG, GIF. And then the formats that we allow below that in NFT Maker Pro already are basically all formats. Like you can upload whatever file you want in NFT Maker Pro. And on the marketplace, we will restrict it a little bit more, but it will be open to 3D models, music, PDFs, like everything that you can imagine and want to have, basically. Text, documents, doesn't really matter. So we try to keep it as open as possible. But of course, the marketplace is going to be like not able to display all the formats. So we at the beginning we will have video, music, regular images, of course, GIFs, and most likely also 3D models.
Okay, so when it comes to on-chain stuff, have you figured out a way to show it? Like pool.pm? Yes. Will they have to go and show it on pool.pm?
On-chain stuff is actually very difficult because on-chain stuff is also a security risk. Always, like that's, and I know that Smog had his issues with on-chain stuff at the beginning as well. And I think Egon did a great job basically bringing Smog to allow on-chain stuff. So we will most likely have that, but not at the beginning. and you have to embed it via iframes and stuff. So you have to be a little bit careful there. And I'm very skeptical when it comes to on-chain stuff. But it is on the roadmap, and we will implement it at some point.
But we can put an on-chain NFT with only like a link to pool.pm maybe and a GIF or something. Would that work?
Yeah, so it will definitely show the preview image, and then a link to pool.pm will be there anyways. So it will definitely be visible, and it will be tradable, but it will most likely not be in the same quality than on pool.pm.
Okay. Interesting. So I will be able to sell NFTs that I already have in my wallet through your marketplace, not only stuff that I. Okay.
Yes.
Not only.
Both.
Okay,
Both.
that's very cool. Cool. And I'm assuming that it will have smart contract operability.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I like it.
And we will have auctions via smart contracts. I think that's missing in the NFT space at the moment.
Yeah, has anyone? I don't think anyone's done auctions except has CNFT.io done it yet?
No, they don't. I think maybe Token does auctions, but not with smart contracts, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And Artano did auctions at some point, but also not with smart contracts.
Okay, interesting enough. Let's see how it goes. I really am waiting for it, so I'm hoping end of this month or February, but let's see.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll let you know, and I will contact you about launching on there on day one.
Okay, but let me know later, like what I need to prepare. If you want like a special collection just for you, like what I did with Artano, because with Artano I put on 8 pieces that were created on Artano. For Artano, I call them the plebs. But if you want something like made just for you guys, let me know, and I will try and work on it. Cool. So this went way over, but I am glad it did. I enjoyed it a lot. I hope you enjoyed it and you weren't bored.
I enjoyed it a lot. I love talking with you, and I hope we get to meet in real life sometime.
Yes, we have decided that when Germany opens up, I am coming to visit when you are there. Yes. So, or you in Dubai, whichever comes first. Right. But that's for sure. Yeah. So I thank you very much again for your time. I really appreciate that you took the time to do this. I know we've seen how busy you are. So please keep on growing. Please enjoy it. I love that you're having fun with this because this is what it's all about. And let's catch up soon. As I told you, this will probably air before the drop, so people understand you more and who are the people behind the drop. And then we'll add a little bit more videos. So thank you again. I really enjoyed this. And tell people where you are. Which country are you in now? Because we forgot to mention this, but you are trying to travel while you work.
Right. Yes, I'm a digital nomad. And I'm in Bangkok at the moment, in Thailand.
I love it. I love it. When you're ready to come and work from Dubai, don't be too late because then it gets hot. You might have to wait till the winter. But if you're ready to come soon, let me know.
Okay, there's a chance that I have to come for business stuff, so we'll see.
We did talk briefly about that, so let's not mention more. But yes, let me know.
I will. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Just stay with me. I am ending the recording.